Once the ball is thrown up, you're expected to referee the defender in your primary and call obvious plays and to trust your partners. And as a crew chief, that's what you're expected to do. Here's something that sneaks in, though. We start judging our partners. It's a roundabout way to get back to it. We start judging our partners. Oh, we needed that. We need that. So many of our young officials, when we work with them, I just say, hey, let's look at your D-League game. They go, oh, yeah, great. I want to show you these plays. Look at this play I had to come get. And I stop right there before we even look at it. I say, I'll bet you lunch right now it's an incorrect decision. So why you said it? I said, it's not in your primary. It's not in your primary. You're judging your partner out there, and that's bad medicine. I learned that. So I go back to say, to start from the beginning, the way you make somebody feel a third is you have to be an example of what to do in your third. And that means I'm not going to judge you. I'm going to get my third as an experience and an understanding that one play is not going to kill us. So I can only tell you in this story. So 2 years ago in January, for the month of January, I challenged myself and I said, I am not going to blow my whistle out of my primary. For this entire month, I had 14 games, and I wrote it on my schedule. Do not blow out of your primary. And I'd be at the trail, and I'd put a cheek on a play, meaning I'd tight clench one of my cheeks, and I'd go, ooh, and I'd run down the floor, and I'd go, oh, my God. And you know what? 90% of the time we'd get in the locker room, and it wouldn't be a foul even. It wouldn't even be a foul. And then sometimes I'd run down like, oh, it got hit. And I'd go back, and, we'd look in the locker room, and you know what? The guy did get hit. But you know what happened that next morning? The sun came up. Every morning, all 31 of those days, all 15 of those mornings, the sun came up. And what it did was it made me more efficient in my primary. And then so now, to round it back to answer Ed's question, so then I was actually walking the walk, and I wasn't just talking the talk, I was walking it. So when we talked about in our pregame meetings about what our primary was, and we talked about refereeing the defense. So we added a little piece to it. Referee the defense, stay in your primary, call the obvious, trust your partner, and be trustworthy for what you're responsible for. So there was no more safety net with me and my partners because now you had to be responsible for calling. And we clearly in the morning meeting defined what our responsibilities were, what plays were ours, and as a crew, we started working so much better. So I think the best thing to say is to be the example. Be the example of how you want that young guy to referee that night. And you want him to what? You want him to get the plays in his primary. See, because being the best referee on the floor, that's what they're asking you to do, be the best referee. They're not asking you to see through walls and to discern things that didn't happen. Think of it this way, if the third referee, let's say you're the crew chief, you're supposed to be the best referee. If the young guy or the third person on the crew, if they have 3 or 4 mistakes, the world's not going to turn upside down. It's just either through acceptance or it's not going to be a big problem. If the guy in the 2 spot misses 2 or 3 plays, it's not a problem. But if you as the crew chief miss 3, 4 plays in your primary, if they don't miss a play, there's going to be a problem because the level of trust and the comfort level from the players and the coaches, if you're making mistakes, ooh, baby, we got a rough night. So so I think you have to be that example. You have to be that person. So, and then you have to trust people, and you have to really care about your partners, and you really have to care. And even for people you just meet that morning, you have to care about them just from the sake that they put on the same shirt as you. And you have to understand that it's not about that